we would meet at Jim's Orbit's Diner, and because the food was free and and delicious. But Jim, as usual, doesn't ever carry a notepad. He takes his pen and his napkin and sits and makes notes. And at the end of this particular meeting, he handed it over and said, "Okay, let's do it. Go make it work. I'll go help raise some money and let's make it happen." And I thought he was crazy, as usual, but we did it, and it worked.
Well, it all started at the Orbit Cafe, and we would sit around and have lunch and talk about things that were wrong in the world.
We were going to the city council meetings and getting completely riled up and angry over what was happening. And I think we all needed to get together so we could just sit there and vent and complain. And then finally it got to the point where Jim, the way he does, starts dreaming up stuff that, like Equality Utah. Why don't we start our own PAC? And I look at him like, have you lost your mind?
The goal of the PAC was to acquire a permanent seat at the political table in all of its dimensions in Utah. And we really wanted to start with Salt Lake City Council, the Salt Lake City School District, and to move forward to the legislature when we thought we would be ready.
We needed to do what other groups had done in America over the many years of the country, and we needed to organize, and we needed to raise money, and we needed to get candidates, and we needed to get politically active and get a voice. And I think that was the impetus for starting. We were giving to individual candidates, many of us, and there was some power within the community. But until we focused and until we unified and until we got together and said, you know what? This is money from gay people to candidates, it didn't have the effect.
So when all these issues were coming up, we saw a lot of great support from members of the GLBT community, but there wasn't any kind of real organization.
I'm not unfamiliar with ideas that seem crazy. And I like crazy ideas. God knows if you're going to have Jim Dabakis in the room, there's going to be a crazy idea. But he has this way of getting crazy ideas to actually happen.
Anything that Jim Dabakis puts his mind to is going to work. So there was never a question.
So we started collecting the money, asking people for money, decided that we would go after a paid staff, and that we would go about doing what other people had done so we could have that place at the table.
The first call we made was to Bruce, Bastian, and Mike Marriott, and Bruce wrote out a very generous check, and that got us on the way.
My main hope with Equality Utah in the beginning was that we would be able to form a nucleus of one political mind and one voice, that we could be united. And you've seen now through the years how that united political voice has really been important and has worked.
Almost from the beginning, I saw Equality Utah as having tremendous potential for political power.
Rocky's mayoral election party was like a gay party, and Rocky stood up and said, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the support of the gay community. And that was the moment where I thought, we now hold power in the city, and that's what made me believe that the Equality Utah would be viable.
It, I think, made all the difference, and I had made that really clear after I was elected. I don't think we would have been able to pull it off.
Suddenly that gave us real power, and for the first time we saw candidates lining up to talk to us, but suddenly there we were with volunteers and with money and with an organization, and that focus made all the difference in the community.
You couldn't find a better group of people. In your dream, you want to work with 3 people that motivate people, that have great ideas, that cut out any pettiness. They were amazing.
Doug is the consummate gentleman. He works hard, always, it seems, behind the scenes. He's never won a lot of glory or recognition.
He's really the worker. He's the guy that did all of the heavy lifting.
When Doug knows that there's a need for some action, he can take it and quietly pull it together and make things happen so that all of a sudden there is an energy around an issue.
Doug is the guy who he'll go out and get his hands dirty and not be afraid of it, and then not really care about getting the credit afterwards.
Michelle is a force of nature. She is opinionated and strong and analytical and one of the smartest human beings that I've ever been around.
Every single organization needs a cadre of people who believe in what you're doing. And so when Michelle comes to sit at your table and she believes what you're trying to do and then she starts contributing ideas herself, that really validates the original idea.
When you've got a person with that kind of passion and earnestness, it can't help but be infectious.
Michelle is direct and to the point and can draw people to her to organize, and that is a quality that I think makes Michelle well deserving of this honor.
Quality Utah has had powerful leadership, a tremendous membership and support and activism.
When I look back, I think of this as being a set of circumstances, the perfect time, the perfect people, the perfect visionaries, coming together to start it all, to really get this movement going.
I have written notes to Brandy and to Michael over the course of the years saying, you are doing everything that I dreamed of. This is what we wanted it to be. And you're fulfilling our dreams. Every time I get an email from you or I see what you're doing in the news, I'm astonished, I'm delighted. It was our dream and you're fulfilling our dream.
We knew that it was out there, that the community was there, that the political will was there, that the time was coming. And to be able to have been able to, at least to the little part, be involved at the beginning and to watch great men and women stand up after us and really take the organization to fabulous heights has been just a tremendous thing.
I see Equality Utah as being one of the very few most powerful voices in Salt Lake City and increasingly in the state.
The future of Equality Utah is going to be even bigger and better. And these victories help lift people.
My hat is off to those founders so many years ago, Doug, Michelle, and Jim, for really starting an organization, lighting the candle, in essence.
I think the people there, led by Brandy, are so great, and they are really so connected within themselves and with us as a community. I salute them. I think this is really great, and I cannot be more proud to be affiliated with them still.
If I had one message for everybody, it would be that Equality Utah is worth your time, your energy, and your financial commitment. I made that decision a long time ago, and I haven't been disappointed.
I hope that these first 10 years simply set the stage for many decades to come.
We are doing groundbreaking work. We're doing the most important work that I can think of today. And I look at the people who've contributed to this organization, our founders, our board members, our volunteers, our staff, our executive directors, and I see that where I'm standing today is on the shoulder of giants, really, of visionaries. And without that first idea, without that first leap of faith, we wouldn't be standing here today. And so to you, Jim and Doug and Michelle, thank you. We love you, and we owe you a huge debt of gratitude.
The food in orbit wasn't that good.
True, it really wasn't. But you were there, you were our good buddy, and it was free, so that's fine.